Welcome to today's presentation. Today, we'll be exploring Aristotle's political philosophy, focusing on his key theories and contributions. Aristotle believed that politics is essential to human nature, as he saw humans as naturally social beings who thrive in communities. He emphasized the importance of the polis, or city-state, as the ideal setting for achieving the good life. Aristotle's concept of the best government was based on the idea of the golden mean, where moderation and balance are crucial. He classified governments into types: monarchy, aristocracy, and polity, as well as their corrupt counterparts, tyranny, oligarchy, and democracy, which he viewed as a deviation. What's particularly important is how Aristotle linked the stability of a state to the virtue of its citizens, arguing that a well-governed community depends on the moral character of those who participate in it. His emphasis on the role of education and virtue in creating a good society remains influential even today. Overall, Aristotle's political philosophy helps us understand the importance of virtue, the nature of good governance, and the idea that politics should serve the common good, which ties directly into our broader theme of understanding the roots of political thought. Today, I want to introduce you to one of the most influential figures in Western thought, Aristotle. He lived from 384 to 322 BCE and was a Greek philosopher whose ideas have shaped countless fields. He was a student of Plato, which highlights his deep roots in philosophical tradition, but he also diverged in many ways to develop his own ideas. Notably, Aristotle was the tutor to Alexander the Great, which shows his influence extended beyond philosophy into politics and leadership. Aristotle made significant contributions across a wide range of areas. His work in philosophy, ethics, politics, metaphysics, and biology has left a lasting legacy. In fact, he's often called the father of political science because of his pioneering efforts to understand and analyze governments and political systems. As we explore his ideas, you'll see how his broad approach to knowledge helped lay the groundwork for many disciplines. His work exemplifies the importance of systematic thinking and curiosity, themes that connect to our overall discussion about the roots of Western intellectual tradition. Aristotle's work is mainly found in two key texts: Politics and Nicomachean Ethics. In these works, he explores fundamental questions about the nature of the state, what it means to be a citizen, and what the best form of government might be. These ideas are still incredibly relevant today, as they help us understand the foundations of political life and governance. One of Aristotle's most famous concepts is the idea of the golden mean, which suggests that virtue lies between excess and deficiency. This idea isn't just about ethics. It applies broadly across many fields, including politics, where finding balanced solutions is often the key to effective leadership. Overall, Aristotle's political theory encourages us to think carefully about the role of citizens, the structure of governments, and the pursuit of the common good. His insights remain a vital part of understanding governance and leadership in the modern world. Humans are inherently social beings, and as Aristotle famously said, man is by nature a social animal. This means that from the very beginning, we are naturally inclined to live and interact with others. Politics, then, is essentially the science of figuring out how we can best coexist within communities. It's about creating systems and structures that help us live together harmoniously. The ultimate goal of political life isn't just about power or control. It's about achieving eudaimonia, which is a term that means flourishing or true happiness. So, when we think about politics, we're really talking about creating conditions that allow individuals and communities to thrive. This connection between human nature and political organization is fundamental because understanding our social instincts helps us grasp why politics matters. It's about shaping a society where everyone has the opportunity to flourish. Now let's take a look at the different forms of government, starting with the good ones. First, we have monarchy, which is a rule by one person, but ideally, it's for the common good. When a monarch governs with wisdom and justice, it can provide stability and order. Next is aristocracy, where the rule is by a select few, the best or most virtuous people. This form aims for governance by those with moral and intellectual virtue, promoting the common good through their leadership. Then we have polity, which is a bit more complex. It's rule by many, blending elements of democracy and oligarchy. This mixed form seeks a balance, aiming to incorporate the strengths of both. Now, moving on to the corrupt forms of government. These are essentially the distorted or misused versions of the good ones. Tyranny is a corrupt form of monarchy, where power is held unjustly and often for personal gain rather than for the people's benefit. Oligarchy, on the other hand, is a corrupt form of aristocracy, where the few govern in their own interest rather than for the common good. Finally, democracy in its purest form can also become corrupt, what we call a corrupt form of polity, where the majority might rule in a way that neglects justice or the rights of others. Understanding these distinctions helps us grasp how governance can shift from serving the public to serving personal or group interests, which is essential in analyzing political stability and justice. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. Let's take a look at what makes up the ideal state. First, it's a mixed constitution, meaning it combines elements of both democracy and oligarchy. This blend aims to balance the power and prevent any one group from dominating completely. Next, the middle class plays a crucial role in ensuring stability. When the middle class has moderate wealth and virtues like temperance and justice, it creates a solid foundation for a well-functioning state. Finally, the rule of law is essential. It guarantees justice and fairness for all citizens, ensuring that laws are applied equally and consistently, which is vital for maintaining trust and order. All these elements, mixing political elements, a strong middle class, and the rule of law, are interconnected and key to achieving a balanced and just society. This ties back to our overall theme of creating a sustainable, virtuous, and well-ordered state. Today, I want to talk about what it really means to be a citizen. A citizen is someone who actively participates in the political life of the state. This means more than just living in a country. It involves engaging with the community and taking part in decision-making processes. But citizenship isn't just about rights, like voting or freedom of speech. It's also about responsibilities, things we are expected to do to help keep our society functioning smoothly. For example, obeying laws, respecting others, and contributing to the common good are all part of our duties as citizens. The best citizens are those who go beyond just fulfilling their obligations. They contribute positively to the community and work toward the collective well-being. They also possess virtues, like honesty, fairness, and courage, that are essential for good governance and leadership. So, when we talk about citizen and citizenship, we're really highlighting the importance of active participation, responsibility, and virtues that help shape a healthy, functioning society. Understanding this connection is key to appreciating our role within the broader political life of the state. Ethics and politics are deeply connected. In fact, the purpose of politics is to cultivate virtue. When we think about politics, we're not just talking about power or policies, but about shaping the moral character of individuals and society. Aristotle's concept of virtue ethics emphasizes that developing moral character happens through habits, repeated actions that become ingrained as virtues. For example, practicing honesty or courage regularly helps us become genuinely virtuous. A key idea here is the golden mean, which suggests that virtue is found between two extremes. Take courage, for instance. It's the mean between cowardice and recklessness. Too much fear leads to cowardice, while too little fear can lead to recklessness. The goal is to find that balanced, virtuous middle ground. Overall, this shows us that ethics isn't an abstract concept separate from politics. It's central to creating a just and virtuous society. Politics, at its best, guides us toward these moral ideals, helping us develop the character needed to lead good lives. Let's take a closer look at Aristotle's view on justice. He makes an important distinction between two types, distributive justice and corrective justice. Distributive justice is about how resources are allocated, and Aristotle believed this should be based on merit. So, people should get what they deserve according to their worth or contribution. On the other hand, corrective justice focuses on fixing wrongs, restoring fairness when an injustice has occurred. Justice, in Aristotle's view, isn't just a moral ideal. It's central to how a well-functioning state operates. Without justice, the social order breaks down, and the legitimacy of laws and governance comes into question. So, understanding these different forms of justice helps us see why fairness and moral balance are fundamental to the stability and proper functioning of any community or state. Let's take a closer look at Aristotle's views on slavery and women. Aristotle justified slavery by claiming it was a natural institution for those he considered slaves by nature. Essentially, he believed that some people were naturally suited to be ruled and to serve others. This idea was deeply ingrained in his philosophy and reflects the broader social hierarchies of his time. He also held controversial views about women, arguing that they were subordinate to men, particularly within the domestic sphere. According to Aristotle, women were naturally meant to be under the authority of men, primarily managing household affairs. These perspectives are important to understand because they highlight how ancient ideas about nature and hierarchy influenced social structures. They also remind us of the importance of examining the origins of such beliefs and their impact on history and society. Connecting this to our overall theme, it shows how philosophical ideas can shape societal norms and justify inequalities that persisted for centuries. Aristotle's ideas have really had a lasting impact, shaping both medieval and modern political thought in profound ways. His emphasis on mixed government, for example, influenced the way many constitutions are designed today, balancing different elements to create stability and fairness. And his virtue ethics, focusing on character and moral development, continue to influence contemporary moral philosophy, guiding how we think about what it means to live a good life. Overall, Aristotle's legacy in political thought is vast, showing us how ideas from centuries ago still inform the way we build societies and consider morality today. Aristotle's political philosophy really emphasizes finding a balance between individual liberty and the common good. It's about creating a society where people have the freedom to pursue their own goals, but also understand their responsibilities towards the community. The idea is that neither should dominate the other. Instead, they should work together harmoniously. When we think about the best political community, Aristotle believed it's one that helps its citizens achieve the good life, a life of virtue, fulfillment, and happiness. Ultimately, this balance and pursuit of the good life tie back to the overall theme of how effective governance promotes human flourishing. Thank you all for being here today. I want to leave you with one final thought. As Aristotle famously said, man is a political animal. This highlights how deeply social and political life are woven into our nature. We're naturally inclined to connect, to communicate, and to organize ourselves in communities. Throughout this presentation, we've explored how our political behaviors shape societies and influence our individual lives. Understanding this intrinsic aspect of human nature helps us appreciate the importance of active participation and responsible citizenship. So, as we conclude, I encourage you to reflect on your role within your community and how your actions contribute to the larger political fabric. Thank you once again for your attention and engagement.